In April 2010, the Deepwater Horizon exploded in the Gulf of Mexico, killing 11 workers and injuring dozens more. Over 200 million gallons of crude oil spilled into the Gulf, creating the worst environmental disaster in U.S. history and damaging the Gulf economy at a cost of billions of dollars. None of BP's executives, managers, or employees deliberately caused the disaster. They were like most people, basically decent, attempting to do their best, making what they thought at the time were the right decisions. Yet cost pressures, the pressure to meet deadlines, a keen competitive instinct, and moral overconfidence led to carelessness and perhaps even negligence. In retrospect, it is easy to spot the hasty decisions, the self-serving rationalizations, and the skewed priorities that made some kind of disaster almost inevitable. But at the time, those involved failed to see the increasing danger to human lives and the environment, and failed to take the necessary steps to protect them from harm. Without realizing it, they in effect put profits ahead of people. The ethical challenges faced by management and employees on the Deepwater Horizon were not the obvious easy ones, whether to bribe a safety inspector, whether to use substandard steel to save a few bucks, or whether to falsify an engineering report. The ethical challenges they faced were much more ordinary, much more common, much more tightly woven into the fabric of everyday business decision-making. Their challenge boiled down to, how careful should we be? How much risk can we justifiably expose others to in the pursuit of profit? Everything they did, everything every business does, involves some risk, and risk can never be eliminated completely. Thus the business ethics challenge. How much risk to others is too much? Deepwater is an extended management simulation game intended to give students the experience of attempting to balance business rewards to oneself against risks to others. Deepwater does not teach students how to strike the right balance. Rather, it gives students the visceral experience of how difficult it is to achieve that balance, and illuminates for them their own role in an organization's failure to do the right thing. How does Deepwater work? In Deepwater, students manage an offshore oil rig, producing oil in the Gulf of Mexico. The simulation takes place over a series of decision rounds, as many or as few as the instructor decides. In each round, students make decisions about how much oil to produce, how much to spend on equipment maintenance and crew safety, how much training to give workers, whether to install pollution control equipment, and when to overhaul their most important piece of equipment, the blowout preventer. At the end of each round, students receive operational, financial, and social impact reports. They see how they did on both business and social responsibility measures. They see how their fellow students, their competition, are doing. In most rounds, students also face one of several ethical challenges. For example, how to manage their oil rig in the face of missing operational information or under the pressure of a cost reduction edict. Instructors review the results of each round with students, using their decisions as a springboard for discussions about business's social responsibilities and the responsibilities of individual managers and employees. The simulation is played online. Instructors have considerable flexibility in how they implement the simulation in their courses. Deepwater can be played by individual students or by teams of students. Instructors decide how many practice rounds and how many regular rounds to play, and instructors determine how they want to grade simulation performance. To make these decisions, instructors are provided with a wealth of supporting resources: handbooks, ethical challenges, teaching notes, and example course schedules. Instructors also have a suite of assessment instruments to help them stay on top of their students' experiences and attitudes as the simulation progresses, and to determine learning outcomes after the simulation concludes. Deepwater was built by a professor of business ethics and has been field tested for more than 2 years. It has been used successfully at half a dozen institutions with hundreds of students. Deepwater is the only business simulation game dedicated to teaching business ethics and designed from the ground up for that purpose. Deepwater was inspired by dramatic real-world events, and Deepwater is fun. It is realistic enough to be convincing and relevant, yet simple enough to be playable by students with no knowledge of the oil industry. Deepwater brings an important and powerful experiential element into the teaching of business ethics. It supplements readings and lectures with an engaging game that also provides students with valuable learning opportunities. Deepwater is flexible, suitable for semester-length courses or short courses, supportive of a variety of learning objectives, and adaptable to an instructor's existing syllabus. Deepwater is affordable, easy to implement for instructors, and easy to use for students.